Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to the webinar series organized by the Department of Computer Application, Kristu College of Management and Technology. Myself, Ebi Rose Varghese, I am the moderator of today's webinar. Now, my duty is to welcome you all to this webinar series. Reverend Father Joshi Chirangudi, CMI, Principal, Kristu College of Management and Technology, a person who played a key role in the development and still working hard for the betterment of our college. With the immense pleasure, I cordially welcome dear Father. I would like to welcome a personality who always motivates the students towards excellence. Here we have such an eminent personality, our Vice Principal, Dr. Varghese Antony, sir. I cordially welcome you, sir. Now I extend my hearty welcome to the Director of MCA, who is the driving force of the department. I am glad to welcome Dr. O.T. Jyoti, sir. Our today's resource person is Mr. Vineesh Chacko. I am very happy to say that we are classmates. He is a senior application development Miller Insurance Service in London. He possesses more than 16 years of experience in software development. He has hands-on experience in Microsoft technologies. He is a Microsoft certified programmer in Azure Fundamentals. We are very glad to have such an eminent personality for handling today's session. With the immense pleasure, I welcome Mr. Vineesh Chacko to this webinar. It's my pleasure to welcome the able leadership, Mr. Roji Thomas, the HOD of Computer Application. Welcome you, sir. I welcome the organizing committee, teaching and the non-teaching staff. It's hard to conduct such an event without the cooperation of our students. I welcome all our dear students to this session. Once again, I welcome you all to this event. Thank you.
So can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Someone just responds me in case if I can't get any response. I'll be asking someone. So someone need to update me. Okay. Right. Okay. So my name is Vineesh. I'm a Azure Fundamental certified person. I'm a full stack Microsoft developer. I worked as a lead developer role, consultant, technical consultant. I'm in London for the last 12 years, and my total experience in development is 16 years. So I worked in various industries like insurance and stock market. I worked with New York Stock Exchange as well. So as maybe Ms. rightly say, we are classmates. So she asked me to come and have this session, and I happily accepted it. Malayalam ഞാൻ mix ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. So she said Malayalam പറയണം. So it will be a ചങ്ങനാശ്ശേരിക്കാരനാണ്. So I'll be happy to take this class. So ആദ്യം തന്നെ എബിക്ക് നന്ദി പറയുന്നു for giving this opportunity to take this class. ഞാൻ ചങ്ങനാശ്ശേരിയാണ് പഠിച്ചത്. SHലാണ് സ്കൂളാണ് ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചത്. ക്രിസ്ത്യോതി എപ്പോഴും ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഒരു ഓർമ്മയിലുള്ള ഒരു സ്കൂളാണ്. എപ്പോഴും ഓർക്കുന്ന സ്കൂൾ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഞാൻ 10ാം ക്ലാസ് 25 വർഷം മുമ്പ് ഞാൻ 10ാം ക്ലാസ് പഠിക്കുമ്പോൾ എപ്പോഴും ഓർക്കുന്ന ഒരു ദിവസം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എല്ലാ ദിവസവും ഈ ക്രിസ്ത്യോതിയുടെ സ്കൂളിന്റെ ബസ് ഞങ്ങളുടെ സ്കൂളിന്റെ വാതിൽ കൂടെ പോകും. അപ്പൊ ഞങ്ങൾ എല്ലാ ദിവസവും ഓർക്കുന്ന കാര്യം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഞങ്ങളൊരു ബോയ്സ് സ്കൂളായിരുന്നു. ക്രിസ്ത്യോതി സ്കൂള് ഒരു മിക്സ്ഡ് സ്കൂളായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ എല്ലാ ദിവസവും ഞങ്ങൾ ഓർക്കുന്നതിന്റെ കാര്യം മനസ്സിലായല്ലോ. Right. Okay. So coming back to the topic, let me. Right. So the course which I'm going to take is Azure, an overview. So I would say I would change this topic as a bit different. Like I would call it as Azure Fundamentals course. The reason I take this as an Azure Fundamental, the reason is Microsoft already provide the course, which is Azure AZ 900 or G00 and AZ 900 G01. So AZ 900 G00 is a course for 2-day course. So which means the course have a lab session as well. But in this course, which I am going to take is a 1-day course, which only covers the topics, not the lab session. And that 1-day course, I'm going to shrink to an hour. So atrayum short ആയിട്ട് ഞാൻ പറയുമ്പോൾ there should be lacking certain clarity on certain things, but I will touch all the important points so that at least you can have some idea about what the Azure all about. Right, okay. So let's just go to the topics. So this is the course overview I'm going to take. So there are 4 modules. First module is cloud concepts, core Azure services, security, privacy, compliance and trust, Azure pricing and support. And at the end, I will be just going to you guys, just a chit chat about what are the career opportunities in Azure and the current situation, and also what are the certification really, if you need to take it. If you need to take it, they can take it. Otherwise, it doesn't. There is no mandatory things like you have that. So the first module I was talking about cloud concept. What is this, what is all about this cloud? So what is all about this cloud concept? What are the topics I'm going to cover in this cloud concept? First of all, we need to know why we need cloud services. So what are the cloud models and what cloud services provides? So second module, I'm going to talk about the architectural components. So basically in this second module, I will not be scrolling through my PPT. I will be taking directly to the portal, Azure portal. So this is the live representation, how you work within Azure in a reality way. Like you can see the Azure screens and you can go through different components, and I can see the products and solutions and the management tools, stuff like that. It will be really helpful for you to see that, because when you work on Azure, you should know what is in and out. I don't know about how handful of any one of you guys have this Azure. I'm thinking you need to have some sort of an idea before you start looking into this. So my starting session will be giving you an overview of it. So the next session is the module I'm talking about is the privacy, security, compliance. And this is kind of the very vast topic. This is just a tip of an iceberg. So this topic can be take 2 weeks or 3 weeks topic. So I'm trying to reduce it in 15 minutes. So think about how much I can talk in this 15 minutes or 10 minutes. The last module which I'm going to talk about is Azure pricing, service level agreements, and the lifecycle. So this topic, I don't say which is, you don't need to too much worry about it. It's all about how the pricing models works, how the SLA, service level agreements, how the Azure, Microsoft supports the Azure services, and also how the life cycle of the product which is introduced into the Azure, how that works. So this is in a nutshell, I'm going to talk. And on the right side top, you can see a road mark ഉണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ ഈ മലയാള മനോരമയ്ക്കകത്ത് കാണുമല്ലോ, ഒരു എന്തെങ്കിലും കണ്ട ഉടനെ രാവിലെ 11 മണിക്ക് ഇത് ഇവിടെ ഇന്ന് വരുന്ന പോലെ ചുമ്മാ ഒരു അവർ മൈക്രോസോഫ്റ്റ് തന്നിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സ്ക്രീൻഷോട്ട് ഇട്ടിരിക്കുന്നതേ ഉള്ളൂ. അതിനകത്ത് പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് വലിയ കാര്യമൊന്നുമില്ല. So it's all about a cloud concept, same topic I just mentioned before, but this is, I took it from the Microsoft, that they want to show it as a, the roadmap, right? So let me go through the first module. What is cloud concepts? So why, before getting into the cloud, do you know what is about cloud? Why we need to move to a cloud? So for example, we want to create an application, like this could be a service or this could be a game, something, and you want to deploy or publish to a server. And first of all, you are only aiming at 5 people to use it. So somehow this application is big a hit, and more than 50 people want to use it. Maybe in the next month it will be 100, maybe 200. So, but when you create the initial application, if you are not envisaging that extensibility in future, you will be in trouble, because you have to spend more money to invest on the infrastructure, you are the database, you are storage and stuff like that. So what cloud provide, it's leverage the facility. You don't need to worry about if you don't have that upfront. You don't need to worry. It will be there if you can extend it, and you can scale up and scale down. So in a nutshell, what is cloud computing means it's a delivery of computing services, servers, storage, and databases networking softwares, analytics, intelligence, and more. The main thing here you need to remember is this is over internet. So you do have in your organization, you have service, right? Like you are in your college, you have service, you have intranet. That's not to be called it as cloud. It is on-prem. We can call it as cloud, but it is not directly linked to the internet. You are not deployed anything onto a server outside of your organization. If it is there, then it's different. But I'm talking about a cloud concept versus an on-prem concept. Yeah. So if it is within your organization, it can't be called it as a cloud. It's an intranet. So the main point you have to remember is it's through internet. So which will enable the faster innovation, flexible resourcing, and economics of scale. So the advantage is we don't need to pay anything extra while you start. You only pay what you use, which is called pay as you go kind of concept. So that will help you, your operating costs. You can run your infrastructure more efficiently, and you can scale up and down your business as you need, right? So that is all about the cloud computing. So go to the next one. So I'm going to talk about the key concept. So there are almost 12 key concepts here. So I'm not going to talk through each and every concept here because it's too much in the 1 hour period of time, 45 minutes, absolutely. It's only 45 minutes, I would say. I can't take everything because this chapter is core chapter. I will be spending more on the slides, but these are the core concepts. If you don't get into this concept, you may need to, you may struggle to understand the rest of it. But I would say I'm not going to talk everything. If you have, if you need to have the clarity on it, keep note of these points on the slide, and you can read about it when you get time. But I will be going quickly through the major points. So first of all, I'm going to talk about high availability. Why we need this high availability as a concept here? Because when you have an application, you want that application to be available every time. It's not like after some time it's not working. That's not good, right? So the high availability is ability to keep the service up and running for a long period of time. So which means we have a very little downtime. So we don't have to make the application down for quite a period of time. Like, sometimes Microsoft or Facebook or Twitter, they will say, oh, sorry for the downtime because it was down due to so and so reason. So there are times the application is down for some weird reason, but what cloud provide is the ability to keep the service up and running for a long period of time. So next one is scalability. So what do you mean by scalability? This is the ability to increase or decrease or resources for a given workload. So, but the point here is you can increase the you can increase the resources depending upon the workload, which means if say from 10:30 to 11:30, my web application or the product which I am hosted in a cloud is using more resources. So I know that's from the statistics, like, okay, I need to increase my resources from this between this period and this period. I'm just telling a time frame of 10:30 to 11:30, but it can be any time period. So that can be possible for cloud. So we don't need to worry, but this is not automatic. So the scalability concept what I was talking is not automatic. So somebody has to manually change that time period or set the time period. So I want this to this happen between these time frame. But elasticity, it's kind of it's similar. It like then the concept remains the same. But what actually happens is this is also an ability to automatically or dynamically increase or decrease resource as a need. But this is automatically. You stress the word automatically. So the difference between the scalability and elasticity is the cloud, the feature to automatically increase or decrease resource. But we can put a threshold. Say, let's say, for example, because if you set the elasticity, the depending upon the people usage. Say, for example, I am using an application which is used by 100 other at the same time, and it is increasing the resource usage. Like it is using the server and using the RAM and the network connectivity. All cost money. So cloud, if the main thing you need to remember is cloud will cost money unless if you are not using it properly. So that's one thing which you need to remember about these points. And the next one which I'm talking about is the agility. You can read about it. Fault tolerance is the ability to remain up and running even in the application in event of a component or service no longer functioning. So for example, if the application is not running and immediately there should be a fault tolerance mechanism to kick in. Like if it is not working for a millisecond or maybe less than a minute or less than 2 seconds, it will bounce back with an alternative from the alternative location. So that is called the fault tolerance mechanism. So the disaster recovery is kind of a similar meaning, but it's a recover from an event which has been taken down as a cloud service. So that is kind of a similar meaning with fault tolerance. So another one is customer latency capabilities. If you say, if the customer is experiencing slowness with a particular service, they could say that could be experiencing some latency. So which means the cloud service will not have that, try to reduce the latency of an application. So if say for example, if the latency is an issue, you can't watch movies on Netflix, because the Netflix and the Amazon Prime or similar video streaming applications, they are not put those videos in the US server or in Russian server. It could be in different server. I will be coming to that topic in the next session. So the next one is the productive and cost consideration. So this is one of the main part for a business people point of view, because we can predict exactly how much cost will be encountered when it comes to the using of the resources. So this is what is called ability for the user to predict what cost they will be incurred for a particular cloud services. It's a very important point. And the final point, I'm not going to talk about anything else, those things which you need to read yourself. The next one is the security. This is the core in current market now. You heard about this sprinkler issue where they have the security breach where it is deployed somewhere else, and because it's in AWS, you heard about those things. So basically, it's all about securing the data. Data is money. If your data is not secure, whatever we do doesn't make any sense. So in UK, you have the Europe, you do have the GDPR rule. It's a data protection rule, which is very, very important now. Like we can't keep anyone else's data in our premises unless we have the right to keep. So that's very important. So the security part is the cloud providers offer a broad set of policies and technologies, control and expert technology skills that can be provided better security than most organizations can otherwise achieve. So it's a brief description I read from the Microsoft security thing. Right. So the next one I need to talk about is types of cloud models. So you can see from the screen, there are 3 types of cloud models. One is public, private, and hybrid. The advantage of AWS with Azure is AWS doesn't have this hybrid model. They only have this public model. And so the public model, we have an application I can publish into AWS, and that's it. If I have an application on-house, like in-house or on-prem, we call on-prem, and you want to link with that application to a cloud, that's not, I mean, they are working towards, it's not there. So even though the market Azure AWS is top, Azure is the one which is providing that facility at the moment. So what is public cloud? So public cloud is all these public cloud services. So like say, I want to have all this, sorry. So all the private cloud providers are like, first one is AWS, the second one is Microsoft Azure, third one is GCP Google cloud platform, the fourth one is IBM Cloud, Oracle, and Alibaba. These are the 6 top cloud providers. Out of this top one, the top 3 one is using public, and the hybrid providers are currently on Azure, and also the IBM also, they have this hybrid functionality. So what about public means they can provide all the facility to upload your application to a cloud, and then they can work from there. You can access those applications from your mobile or your desktop or laptop or from your or any other gadget which we can browse. The private is different. So private is if you have like in your organization, your college. So college have a private data center or service, where we can deploy all those applications and they are accessing it. That is called private. They don't have any access to the internet. If it's not deploy anything onto the internet, over through internet, you don't need to access any of your application connecting from your premises or the private premises to another cloud to access it. So if it is only in your own organization, we call it as private. But what is all about private hybrid? Say for example, you have a private application which is running in your own premises, which is exclusively accessible to your people in your company or in your organization. Now, what you need to have to link with a application which is in the cloud. So what do you do? Like you need to say, for example, you have a Windows application running on your desktop in your company. You want to access those applications through a web portal. So you don't want that fat client. You just need to, when I say fat client, means when any application running on your from a Windows machine, which is an exe, that is called a fat client. So if you want to access the same application on a mobile, so the best option is to go through the browser. Yeah. So that is called the pushing the application or lift and shift, lifting the application to a cloud. So that's what lift and shift. So the hybrid functionality is specific, gives us specific functionality to browse from the similar application which you run from your on-prem to a cloud. So that way you don't need to, if you have a legacy application in your organization which you don't need to push to the cloud, you can keep it in your own organization, and you can link the organizations through the cloud, which that is possible, which is called using hybrid connection. Right, I think move to the next one. So next one is, what are the types of cloud service? I'm going a bit fast because I think I'm best aware of the time, like it's time boxing my each topics which I'm talking, so please bear with me. So the types of cloud services, there are 3 types of cloud service at the moment. One is IaaS and the PaaS and this SaaS. So it's called, we called as PaaS and SaaS. So what is as IaaS, which is called infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure as a service that we can see from the picture, like we have a servers and storage, everything on your on-prem, and we have a networking facilities are there. We have a data center. So when I say data center, hope you can just give an idea about what is a data center, because you need to know about the data center before we go, because I will be repeating the same thing for the rest of the sessions. Data center is a large group of, I hope you guys know, but I'm just repeating it. It's a large group of network computers, servers typically used for organizations for a remote storage, processing of or distributing a large amount of data. It's a kind of a mixture of network connections and blades, the network blades, and linked with the network connectivity and control using the the firewalls and all. So that's kind of a data center. So coming back to the AS, so if we compare what you see in the AS is like we have a so we have this if we compare that picture, like see on the on-prem, on the infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So if you look at the picture, you can see from all the green part, like you manage. So which means if you compare those 3 things, you manage is what as a customer we manage. Like if you use a cloud service, if you are using an infrastructure as a service, see what all things we need to manage and what all things our cloud provider should manage. So if you want the least manageability from our point of view, we move towards software as a service. But if you want more control, go to the private, which is on-prem, which is currently I was talking about in your company, like or organization, where you have an application, you have full control. You don't need to worry about your upgrade, anyone else to upgrade your OS, upgrade your application patches, and the database security and everything end to end you need to handle. But the downside is you have to do it. You can't delegate the work to someone else to do for you. The next one, which I was talking is infrastructure service, which means see the bottom part, compute, networking, and storage. We don't need to worry about it. Cloud will take care of it. So the virtual machine, we have to create a virtual machine in infrastructure as a service. Like the cloud will provide an infrastructure structure to you. I say, do whatever you want, but we will take care of your compute, networking, and storage. Coming back to the platform as a service, see up to which level it will go on up. You don't need to worry about from the runtime down. So runtime means which operating system and which runtime, like your .NET is running on the .NET framework, Java will be JVM and whatever it is, they will take care of that. But you need to take care of only on your application and your data and access. Which means if you have create a product and we want to deploy a product to a cloud, Forget about anything else. You don't need to worry about your server patches and all. Just deploy that application to the server. Leave it there. We only need to worry about to update your application. If you have an upgrade to the application, like if you added a new functionality to your application and you want to publish the application to promote the application production, you can test that application in your test environment, push to the cloud and promote that application changes to everything can be done without worrying about your infrastructure and you about operating system and anything. So that is platform as a service. Software as a service, it's one of the favorite thing which done by Microsoft, because one of the example of software as a service is Microsoft Office 365. You don't need to worry about anything. They provide everything end to end. You don't need to, even if you don't have the Windows Office on your machine, you can still use it. Yeah, the license are provided through the Office 365 nowadays. You don't need to worry about that. Another example is Skype. Skype is also a software as a service. Microsoft Dynamics and CRM Online, that is also enough software as a service. So these are the three comparisons which I was thinking of explaining to you guys. So I think I'm just conscious about the time again. I'm moving to next. Next topic is module is all about core Azure services. So as I've mentioned before, this topic is kind of a show and tell. I will quickly go through what is the high level architecture of the cloud, and then I will take you through the Azure portal. So I quickly explain what is Azure portal all about and how it works. And I mean, quickly go through. I'm not going to deeply into any one of the topics, but I can walk through quickly. So in this topic, say architecture, then Azure services and products, Azure solutions, management tools, everything, it will be on the portal. I will show that. So before I take you to the portal, I was just want to explain this thing, very important, because this is Azure regions, Azure availability zones. What is this all about? This, when you talk about cloud will be is a distributed system, right? All this data and all other infrastructure is distributed all over the world. It's not in one place. So this Microsoft Azure is made up of a data center located all around the globe, and data center is organized and made available by the regions. So as you can see from this clip, so you can see that these are regions. I hope you can see these are available regions and available zones. So the two things are there. When you talk about available regions, these blue dots are available regions, and the white dot within this blue is available zones. So what is region? We talk about region, yeah. A region is a geographical area in a planet containing at least one, but potentially multiple data centers. So I talked about data center. It's a large, I talked before, like it's a large group of network computing with connectivity with the network. Yeah. So that is all about the data center. Just think about that. So it's a large potentially multiple data centers that in close proximity. The close proximity I was telling was in US, if you look at this, there are West Central US, there is a region is there. There is another one which is North Central US. So all these are this may be called as a close proximity, but since the US is a very big country, they are having multiple data centers across and also regions across. So Azure intelligently assigns this control and controls the resources within each region to ensure that workload are appropriately balanced. So which means if an application hit a server in a central US, so many people are accessing that particular region, what it will split this traffic to the next place where it is less traffic. So that is all about this the workload balancing. So there are special regions. I would like to explain a few bit about special regions. Do you see this US DOD Central, Government Virginia, and the US DOD is for defense. So Department of Defense. So there are certain regions which we can't access externally. Like if you try to access an application which is deployed on this particular region, no one else other than that region, or especially the government department, can only access it. No one else can access that application. That's how they're securing this for a specific need. Like defense is very secure. They want to be very secure from external world. So they were keeping like that. So US DoD Central, US Virginia, US government Iowa. So US, when you say US Gov, it's government organization only. They are the only one who can access the network. No one else can access that. So to avoid any attacks and all. So the next one I was talking about availability zones. I'm just again conscious about the time. So the availability zones, these availability zones are the physically separated locations within Azure region that are usually available by a setup provide additional fault tolerance. So for example, if something happened to one of the zones, yeah, so immediately it will switch back. So it's called a fault tolerance. So something happened to this region, like some earthquake happened in this area, and if our application and all other data is stored only in this area, what will happen? We lose our application data, which is not good from a cloud point of view. They are already mirror those data back to this place so that they can access it. So that's availability zone. And I would show about this region pair. You can see on the right side a small table, which is called a region pair. See, what is this region pair? So if, as I mentioned before, the region, if something happened to one area, so like earthquake or whatever, like tsunami, whatever happened in one area, shouldn't be affecting the other part. So the region pair it's a possible that a large enough disaster could cause an outage enough to affect even 2 data centers. So the region pair is basically set to make sure that if South Central US has some issue, it will automatically switch North Central US. So similarly, if it's a data center has some issue, it will switch to East US. So that's what I meant by that. So before let me take you to the portal, the next one, which we are going to talk about the portal. Give me 1 second. Sorry, can you guys see my screen? Anyone?
So we can't see your screen.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir, we can.
Right. So this is a portal. Sorry about the trouble. I was trying to switch between my screens. So this is an Azure portal. Let me minimize this. So I was talking about the Azure portal before, right? Okay. So this want to explain about all the resources within the Azure. So I was created a dashboard exclusively for this course. So I just want to explain what are the services and also what are the resources which we can available from this Azure. So let me go through quickly. I'm not going to spend much time on it. This is the tools which we can use. So let's take the categories are the general category. So we can see there are resource groups. Resource groups are which if you want to create, because as I said, these are all cost money for us. If you want to use a resource and if you are not disposing it on time, it will cost you money. So if you want to try and try specific tool, and if you want to decide whether you need to use it or not, you can use it. But then if you don't want to continue, you can destroy it. So all of those such resources can be created into a resource group. And then at the end of the day, if you don't want to use those resources at all, then create the resource, delete the resource group altogether so that you don't need to worry individually go and delete it. It's kind of a basket, yeah, shopping cart kind of thing. You can create everything and put it in there. So these are the compute. So this is general. I'm not going to, as I said, I'm not going to all of these topics because this is a bit of a individual topic, how to go in very deeply. So I don't want to go that. And this is the compute. What are the compute functionalities and features provided by Azure? You can see app services. This is where we can deploy our web applications. So all the web applications can be going to here. And you can see this one is images. We can put images like the virtual machine images. We can create disks. So it's like if you have a, what do you say? If you have your hard disk, yeah. So you have to put your hard disk somewhere so that we can deploy your applications. You can keep your files and storage facilities, that kind of thing. We can do that. I think for the timing, I think so. These are the preview features. I will come to this preview features. What is this preview features in the next? I think the module 4. Yeah. Yep. So these are. I mean, I'm just again more cautious about the time because it's short time. We have the web facilities. Like these are the web features provided by Azure. This is basically this is a web portal where you can see all the functionalities of an Azure. We got app services, containers. You can see how we can publish our application to web. Like you can use Kubernetes services for deploying application to DevOps. It's another topic of DevOps. Is a different topic. You know how what are the facilities for Azure provided for databases. So these are the things like we got a SQL database, we got the Azure Postgres database, and we can node SQL, which is Cosmos database. This is NoSQL. This is not there is no structure database. Like we don't have a structure. This is just NoSQL one. We have analytics tools, so many analytical tools for Power BI is one of the good thing which we can learn. Like this is used for the old way we are using SSRS report functionality provided by Microsoft. Now it is using Power BI. So blockchain integration services. Again, I'm not going too deeply, but I just want to show you what all the functionalities are there. Identity services, which very important, like we have the Azure Active Directory. Hope you guys know about Active Directory, Windows Active Directory, where we can keep all of your applications by accounts. So if a user have an account to access a particular application, then all this can be handled through the Active Directory. Similarly, in Azure, we have the same thing. We can sync our Windows Active Directory with Azure so that we don't need to recreate anything in our Active Directory of Windows. So security, again, as I said, this is a big topic. I'm not going to talk up anything about it because this is a massive one. But we have this, we have the key vault, which is where we can keep the secrets because of password and everything. We can keep it here. There we AD security. We can keep or secure our Active Directory, which is allowed to secure unnecessary hacking from external people. DevOps, this is where we, like a developer, we regularly using DevOps. What we'll do is in our environment, we will try to build, like I'm using Visual Studio for development and also Visual Studio Code. So when we develop and we finish our application development and when we push it, so the first time it will go to the Azure DevOps, there it will build and we can automate the continuous integration. Like we can push that code to our environment. Like we have a dev environment, you can push dev environment for the test stage to test it. Then from the dev environment, test environment, we can push back to the UAT environment, which we call it as user acceptance environment. And from there, we can push that to prod. So we can set up everything in this DevOps. This is one of the tools which is gracefully used by the developers. Right. I think all these features, like always on the left side, you can see all are coming from these services. So whoever use this, then that will come up here. So that's why it's coming up on the left hand side. So I'm coming out from this, stop sharing from here. Right, I'm coming back to the slide. So the chapter or the module 2, we saw all about how we can leverage the Azure features and functionalities from a portal point of view. Now I'm going to talk about, this is a tip of an iceberg I was talking. This is all about security, how we can secure the application. How the identity service and security Then how the governance can be done, like monitoring, reporting. So again, the data protection, how we will do that. Like, okay, so if you look at the first picture, so what actually it is happening here is we have an application which is having storing some data. So your primary objective is to store the data securely. So you can see the different layers, which is first is the physical layer where we can avoid people to access directly. So it have the first layer of defense, and then the identity where we are checking the access to the infrastructure and the change control, and the perimeter, which is a DDoS, which is called as the attack, which is where the multiple attack is trying to access the application, where we will stop to do that. So if your customer is there, you can see in the DDoS, when the customer is there and there were multiple attackers trying to attack, they can identify in this system to see whether it's a genuine user or not. So that is this perimeter layer. And the network, we have the virtual network layer where we can restrict with the firewalls and also that nobody can access it. The computing, which is our computer, where we can keep our files on a secure encrypted way. Then the application, and then finally the data protection part. So then you can see from this application security group image, you can see that there is where we have deployed an application, and we from the internet somebody tried to access the application. It will first hit the web server, where the web server is the first entry point where we have this network security starts kicking in. So we can see then after it comes to this app service where it will be deploying our applications, and then it will try to connect to the database, and it will connect to our data. But you can see there is a block here which is telling, okay, I can't connect from the web server to the database because that's how my network security setup. So this is all about, this topic is all about how we can securely keep our Azure application so that it will not access externally. So nobody can access this application data externally other than through this particular route. So I'm skipping this because I'm just conscious about the time now. So this is secure comparison between different promises which we see, like we have on-prem, as PaaS and SaaS. So if you see that the more we move towards the cloud, the more secure the application is, because Microsoft will take care of the security of our application once we deploy. So again, I'm skipping. This is about identity, how we securely keep our application secure. Like you can use the multi-factor authentication. You know that about how we can keep the like you can get the text message on your mobile and get authenticated through that. And we have a Azure Security Center, which is a bigger topic. Like we have the Security Center where we can see what are the threats being attended to our application and see whether anyone trying to hack it, and we can what action we can take against that particular thing. And Azure Key Vault, I was mentioning that all the password and everything we can keep in the Key Vault, and we don't need to expose any of this data on our application or any config file of the application. This is the government where how we can use a role-based access. So once you create the user groups, and we control this through the user group permissions, so we don't need to worry about how individually, like we have to, this user have to have this particular permission on this group. We don't need to worry about that. This will be all through the role-based access policy. So finally, I'm just sorry, I'm very conscious about the time now. So the final thing which I'm talking about is the pricing model and the subscriptions and all. So in this model, you can see you can create your own subscriptions. Like you can use free subscriptions, you can use paid subscriptions, and you can use enterprise subscriptions. So this is all about subscriptions. So you can see you have for developers. So for us, for a student, you can create your own free subscriptions. You don't need to pay any money. Like you can, but you have to use your credit card information, but they won't charge you. It will be for a 12 month. You will get 15,000 rupees of credit. You can utilize this, and at the end of that 12 months, the first 30 days, you have this 15,000 rupees. If you are not using this within the 15 days, then it will be expired, but your account will be there for next 12 months. As you can see here, it's free. So these are the different offers. Like we have a pay-as-you-go options. We have Visual Studio Enterprise BizPack, and we have Visual Studio Professional pack. So once we start using it as an enterprise model, you have different options available for it. So this I mentioned before, how we can manage specific subscriptions. Like if you don't want to worry, if it's a bigger organization, if you have 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 people, we don't need to worry about individual people's subscription. It is managed through the management group. So if each subscription have a resource group, and then each resource having identifying how they are charging. So as I said, this is pay as you go option is there, and the multiple billing option is there. So you can see on this bottom side, we have Azure subscriptions, and it's having invoice on each subscription, and we have a billing profile. So the company is sitting identifying the usage, they don't need to worry about individual. They will get a bill depending upon how permission has been assigned to the subscription, so that like that they can predict the cost. I think I'm done with the course. Just a bit fast because I'm conscious about the time. So in a nutshell, what we come across today was about cloud concept. Yeah, so I think I'm a bit fast, but at least you got an idea. I'm not going to expect that you will be getting to know everything in an hour time and you'll be mastered the next day, but I'm not. But at least somebody asks about cloud, at least you have this in your mind. At least we have some. I will share if this the slide once I'm done with the course, and I can give it to your organization so that they can have, you can have it. So core services, you can privacy, so, and also the pricing and support models. So hopefully you have some kind of idea. I know it's too much to take out now, but at least you have the idea. I took almost 3 years to understand all these concepts, but I can understand when you have at this stage how you can take on from a student point of view. So finally, I just want to one more thing, like, so I talked about almost 35 minutes, 40 minutes now. What is the take on? Why we need to go to cloud? Yeah. What are the opportunities are there? See this graph here. From 2015 to 2019, I got this from a website, popular website, where they do this statistics and all. So in terms of the cloud opportunities, each year it's going up, it's never going down. This graph is not talking about the cloud opportunities. This graph is talking about each giant cloud provider's career opportunities regarding the jobs. So when you work after your courses, you have to get into a job, right? So from your point of view, which one you need to decide which stream you need to go. Either you need to go to AWS, or you need to go to Azure, or you need to cloud, or you need to go to Oracle, Salesforce. All those opportunities are there. Like IBM also are there. So it's all about deciding which way you need to go. If you feel to stick on with the Windows, like because Windows, Microsoft, which is again Windows, and then you have to stick on with Azure because Azure have the Windows back. Yeah. So because I'm not advocating Azure, I'm not endorsing Azure, but from the last 16, 17 years of my experience, I live my life with Azure. Microsoft. So I'm always supporting Microsoft products, and it's obvious that that's the way it should be, right? So the next one I need to talk about the current trend, how the jobs in Azure. Because again, as I said, I'm not going to advocate anything else at this point, but I have to accept the fact that this is how the current market trends going. So you can see because of the last year pandemic situation, Microsoft provided 25 million training programs. So anybody who have $15 to spend, they can take the certificates. So the certificate, I'm not advocating certificates. See the trends going towards an Azure, the cloud model. So up to like 2025, almost 190 million jobs are going to come into the market. So you are at this stage, you are. I know you are having your own academic things, but at the same time, you have to think about what's the future. You are not going to finish your life after your course, right? You have to live further on, like go to get the good job. So see the trend now, like 149 million jobs by 2025. See the split, like 1 million on privacy and trust, cybersecurity, data analysis, and machine learning, cloud and data roles, software development. See the software development, 98 million jobs are there. This is statistics. Yeah, it can be up or down. We can't predict that, but definitely see the trend. So in a nutshell, I'm telling you that you have to prepare, because cloud is future, definitely. That's no doubt about it. Cloud is future because people are moving from on-prem to cloud. They are doing lift and shift. I'm also doing a bigger project now from the last 7 months on a lift and shift project. Like we have a big project in our company. We are moving that project from our on-prem to the cloud. So that's definitely that's a future. Again, thinking about this certification, you don't need to have the certification. The reason being is certifications are showcase piece. Yeah, even if you don't have the certification, you will be a good developer or you will be a good cloud expert. Don't need to do that. But certificates always give you some sort of a showcase piece and give you a good profile on LinkedIn or CV. ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ പറയാൻ എൻ്റെ ഒരു മനസ്സിലായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇതിനു വേണ്ടി പ്രത്യേകം തയ്യാറാക്കിയ ഒരു നെക്സ്റ്റ് ക്ലിപ്പ് ഉണ്ട്. അതിന്റെ കാര്യം ഞാൻ പറയാം. ഞാൻ 2 വർഷം മുമ്പ് ഒരു ഇന്റർവ്യൂ എടുത്തു എൻ്റെ പഴയ കമ്പനിയിലെ റോളില്. അപ്പൊ എനിക്കൊരു CV വന്നു. ആ CVക്കകത്ത് ഞാൻ നോക്കുമ്പോഴുള്ള എല്ലാ സാധനങ്ങളും ഉണ്ട്, ഇമാതിരി സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് എല്ലാം ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ഇന്റർവ്യൂവിന്റെ പ്രോസസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മൈസെൽഫ്, മൈ സൊല്യൂഷൻ ആർക്കിടെക്ട് ആൻഡ് IT ഹെഡ്. സോ ഐ എം എ ടെക് ലീഡ് അറ്റ് ദാറ്റ് ടൈം. സൊല്യൂഷൻ ആർക്കിടെക്ട് ഉണ്ട്, head on. But first we have a plan to engage how we can approach the interviews. So first my role was to target the technical side, and the technical solution architect will say, okay, this is how you handle the particular scenario when it comes to design point of view. And IT head and the pulli, he will be taking care of how he can gel with the team. So how he efficiently work as a team, the intercommunication, team work team all together as a team, how we gel with them and something like that. പക്ഷെ ഇന്റർവ്യൂവിന്റെ ഫസ്റ്റ് സെക്ഷനിൽ ഞാൻ ആ CV എടുത്തിട്ട് തന്നെ ഇരിക്കുവാണ്. നോക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ ഓക്കെ, സൂപ്പർ, ഈ പുള്ളി സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ്. എന്റെ ഫസ്റ്റ് 3 ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചുള്ളൂ. 3 ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പുള്ളി തവളവട. പുള്ളിക്കൊന്നും സംസാരിക്കാൻ പറ്റിയില്ല. ഹി വാസ് ബേസിക്കലി ഹീസ് വെരി ഗുഡ് ഇൻ തിയറി. യാ. സോ എന്റെ മനസ്സിലോട്ട് വന്ന ആദ്യത്തെ ഒരു പിക്ചർ നിങ്ങൾ കണ്ടാ ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഇതാണ് എന്റെ മനസ്സിലോട്ട് ആദ്യം വന്നത്. മലപ്പുറം കത്തി, അമ്പും വെല്ലും, കത്തി മുള്ളും, ഈർക്കിലി, മുട്ടുസൂചി, എല്ലാ സാധനവും ഉണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ if you don't know about if you don't know how to do it and how practically do it, in theory you can say so many things. You can say, oh, I did that, I did. Doesn't matter. That's not the problem. That's not the issue here. When it comes to a question, how pinpoint you answer the question, because the theory only gives you to get good profile in like in LinkedIn or on our CV. But as I said, theory gives you a good mark, but you are not going to a good job. You need to do yourself. You are dirty your hands. Every day you have to practice yourself some or the other thing. You have a lot of resources now available. YouTube ishtambole videos und. I think you don't need to pay any money for training anything. You can use Microsoft. Microsoft is providing hundreds of videos. So utilize that chances to utilize that opportunity, learn and try to work hard, get a good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The session was so fruitful. If you have any doubts, you can post now. Sir, there is a question.
All right.
Could you please tell us more about how Azure platform optimized for IoT?
So unfortunately, I'm not an expert, but definitely it is optimized. I already showed you, like there is an area where we can we can use microservices so that it can leverage the simplicity of the microservices for IoTs.
Thank you, sir. Is there a way that an instance running on AWS or GCP to be moved to Azure platform directly without downlinking?
I'm not an expert of AWS. I think so because this question is nothing to do with AWS or GCP, but it's all about which environment. So Azure supports Linux platform. Azure support any Ubuntu. It's another environment we can use. All those platform we can use, but I'm not 100% sure about the GCP because I never worked on it.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Danya ma'am for vote of thanks. Thank you.
I have one more question. I think, which among these giant cloud providers do you prefer ideal for beginners to deploy and experiment something? I advocate Azure. The reason is you will get 15,000 rupees just for a month. As a student, you can freely log in, create an account, use your the organization email address if you have like college and your email address, and use it, and use a credit card to register it. That's it. You can use it. Thank you. Before that, I just want to thank you for giving me an opportunity, especially Father Joshi Chiram Kuyacha, Director Sir George, HOD Roji Sir, and all the webinar coordinators, organizing committee, advisory committee. Thank you very much for giving an opportunity to talk, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, one and all. I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have directly or indirectly contributed to this webinar series organized by Department of Computer Applications, Kristu College. On behalf of Department of Computer Applications, I would like to thank today's resource person, Mr. Vineesh Chacko, for accepting our request to be the resource person and for presenting the subject, Microsoft Azure, in a simple and understandable way. Thank you, sir. I would like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Reverend Father Joshi Chidanguri CMI, Vice Principal, Dr. Varghese Anthony sir, Director, Dr. O.T. George, and HOD, Mr. Roji Thomas, and all the teaching and non-teaching staff for this enormous support. The program marks its eminence with the participation, sincere cooperation of all the UG and PG students of Computer Science Department and all the keen listeners who joined the Zoom platform. Thank you all. Last but not the least, I thank the technical team for the pain and efforts they have taken to make the program a successful one. Thank you all once again. Have a great day.